Okay, there we go. So, can everyone hear me? Go ahead, thumbs up in the chat if you can actually hear me. This whole setup's pretty new, so still getting a little used to it. Is that a yes? Is this microphone actually working? Anything in the chat? Okay, good. All right. Hey, y'all. So, got a new microphone, got a new camera, actually, and I'm excited to be here today with you guys. We've been up to an awful lot these past few weeks. Okay, glad to hear. Yeah, I don't know if there's a delay or what, but yeah. So we've been up to an awful lot these past few weeks. It's been a crazy month. Past few months, to be completely honest. Went to Miami. We just launched the NFT locker, and I'm really excited about where we're headed. We've got some really cool stuff in store for February. Probably several different things coming out in the next 2-3 weeks. And I think you guys are going to like them an awful lot. We'll be seeing the very first, the revenue engine in action. And y'all are going to love what we've got planned for you. We've got, I don't know if we're ready to talk about Resolve quite yet. I might talk about it a little if you guys ask nicely. But Resolve is going to be absolutely crazy. It is, when I say that we've put together a new financial primitive, I am not kidding. There's nothing that quite corresponds to this thing in traditional finance, and I think you'll find it very exciting. I'm going to grab some coffee. I'll be right back. Questions in chat. Let's get this thing going. Oh, thanks, Rad. Yeah, I'm not in Miami anymore. I was down there for Bitcoin North America, they called it. It was the Miami North American Bitcoin Conference, and I went down there, hung out an absolute ton with some really cool people. It's a fair bit of work, too. But basically spent the time hanging out with Austin from Phantom Alerts, the guys from Byte Masons, met the guys from Tarot, met what else did I meet? Met the guy behind Cassatius Coin. He's real cool. Had a lot of fun with him. Met the Poctopus. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but he's a cool guy. He's really impressive. Been in the space a long time. Talking about some interesting ideas with him. Met some folks that I've only ever talked to over the internet, and that was a lot of fun. Hey, you like the router? Oh, yeah, that's just sitting back there with the old laptop. I'm trying to remember everyone I met down there. It's an awful lot of people. Some folks from the Phantom Foundation who are really cool. Met the guys from Phantom Unchained, whole team. They're fantastic people. I had an awful lot of fun. Got to touch base with some of the people I met down there. It's incredible. It is really good community, the Phantom community. I thoroughly would say that I've become a convert at this point. And that's why Resolve is really primarily going to be aimed at Phantom. So we'll launch on mainnet as well, but given the gas on mainnet, I think Phantom is probably where it's at right now, especially for really intricate DeFi operations. Okay, so go ahead, hit me with some questions, y'all. Is the NFT locker considered a finished product or more of a tool? So the NFT locker is what I would say is a medium-sized product. It's definitely finished. We're not going to be, going back in there and changing it radically after this point. It allows people to lock their ERC 721s into NFTs, FNFTs. So I've been getting asked about a lot. It allows them to receive airdrops of arbitrary tokens. We've already got one partner y'all have heard about, Hangry. We've got one more partner confirmed, another in discussion. And I'm The hangry people, they're fantastic. I like what they're doing. They're crazy dudes. The next guys, y'all will enjoy them. And if we can land that third partner, I think it's also going to be a very good addition to the team of people who are making good use of that NFT locker. Its purpose, why we created it, is it's for one, it's designed to incentivize use of the protocol. We want to generate revenue, so that is, of course, paramount. It's a problem that needed solving. It's a common thing encountered in NFT communities is that founders want to get liquidity off the marketplaces. Communities want some interaction with the founder other than just having the NFTs, and they want to see where else they can take it. This tool makes that easy and takes a lot of the guesswork out of trying to write a system like this. So I would say it's more of a product, definitely. We've got, if it were just a tool, we wouldn't have lined up, partnerships for it. But I wouldn't say it's a major product, not in the way that Resolve is a major product. Like we could have done Resolve on its own. That's big enough that we kept it under the Revest brand umbrella because we love the Revest brand. We love the Revest community. We wanted that to be part of that, and it uses Revest in it. So it makes a ton of sense to keep it there. But it's big enough that it could actually be its own thing. I don't think the NFT locker is that big. The NFT locker is more of an add-on product. It's within firmly the Revest ecosystem. Is a partner just someone using the protocol with help as needed from Revest team, or are there financial deals outside of just using the protocol? Depends. So in some cases, we have struck financial deals that will directly benefit y'all, the stakers. In other cases, it's just us helping the team out with utilizing the protocol in the way that it's designed. It really depends on a case-by-case basis. And yeah, Rad, I really liked the city. Miami was cool. Jackie and I enjoyed the chance a lot to get away. We managed to miss the snow. Oh, that was nice. It's nice getting out. It was a really fun time. We started out at a steak bar, Olé Olé. Went to what was it? This place called the Voodoo Lounge the second night. Hung up out on the rooftop. That was cool. That was a cool time. And I want to say third night was Hard Rock. We were basically constantly running around. I didn't actually have I think I went to the conference for all of maybe 2 or 3 hours. The rest of the time I was just talking with people. I figure, that's the whole point of going to a conference is you want to meet folks that you've only met online in person. And I would definitely say we've got some pretty good things coming out of that conference, some partnerships that we needed and we wanted. And I think we've pretty much nailed those down. And the cool thing about that is going to that conference, it actually exposed to me a few of the things that are missing at Revest right now that we need to improve on as a team, that I need to improve on as a leader. And that really, when you get right down to it, that's education. I noticed a lot of the devs that I talked to, they had problems that Revest solves. But because, one, documentation is not quite there. And two, there's no clear and concise examples of how you might do something like this with Revest. They don't understand that Revest can do that. That's actually why, you guys saw it as a blip on your radar. Most of you aren't devs, so you don't really care about it in particular. But I actually built that Uniswap repo. It demonstrates how to use a Revest output receiver to send the funds and swap them automatically when the time lock expires, whenever the user withdraws from the NFT, of course. But I built that on the advice of some of the other devs at the conference. The idea being, okay, you need to give people something that they can just tear open. That's very straightforward. That's very simple. That explains exactly what's happening. And I think it's helping. I got a lot of people, and I tell them about what our protocol does. They'd be like, "Whoa, okay, yeah, we're interested." It's fantastic. Communication is the hardest thing, but I'll be honest, if that is the biggest problem that we ever encounter, I think that is a fantastic problem to have. That is much better than a structural problem. That is a problem that can be solved. That's a problem that you can, bring people on. And we actually, no, that's another cool thing that just happened. We just hired our web developer, Mike. He's from Poland. He's been brought on as full time. So congratulations. Getting back to where I was before I went off on that tangent, the general idea, communication is a solvable problem. We've just actually brought some marketing online. And I mean, you guys saw that TikTok video. It's very basic, but it actually conveys a decent amount of information. I was really impressed by the work that those guys did. I'm very happy. You can thank Jake for that. He's helping. He's I guess we don't have a title for him quite yet, but he's helping Mikkel out with the marketing. So both performance marketers, both very skilled at what they do, and I'm really happy with the way things are going. How am I solving the communications, marketing, and building that repo, and generally just trying to better communicate what Revest is and why people need it. We've gotten a much more concise pitch down, and being able to take that pitch that currently involves me talking and turn it into something that we can just share, such as a video, such as I don't know, some kind of an interactive element where it's reusable. I don't love PowerPoints, but we're kind of, if I had to say where we're aiming on that, it's I explain it, we videotape it, we share it with everyone. We're actually, funny enough, you ask, we're actually producing internally. So like I said, we've been bringing a lot of new guys on, and some of them, we got to bring them up to speed. Also, these new ideas that I'm putting together, I've got to communicate that to the rest of the team. So what we're starting to do now is we're moving into having bi-weekly kind of like 30-minute seminars as a team. And the general idea is, okay, these are going to start out kind of basic, like, oh, you've come from traditional marketing. You don't really quite know what a liquidity pool is. Okay, we're going to brush you up on what a liquidity pool is and how it works. They're going to be, okay, you'll understand how this component of Revest works. We're going to thoroughly explain that. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taping these. And we're going to distribute those beyond just the central team. We're going to actually start making those available to the general public so that anyone who wants to understand how exactly Revest works, what Revest can do, why they should use Revest, why it's better than doing it yourself, what our value is, they can just pull this stuff up and watch the videos. But yeah. Are you trying to educate devs or other crypto people? Whew. There's actually a great deal of business strategy in that question. So short answer, yes. Long answer, depends on the order. So we need appeals to both. And there's a simple reason for that. And that is the observation that I've had in crypto, being in this space for as long as I have now, is that B2B is hard here. It is not like the traditional world where you just go out and you're like, oh, hey, you guys need this, we got this. It's harder to get in touch with people. There's not as many official lines of communication. A lot of times partnerships are thought to be double-sided. Instead of, we just have a product that you can use and it'll make your life easier. So what we found is that when you're talking about partnerships, and when you're talking about partnerships with people who have, significant traction in the industry already, a really good way to do that is social proofing. And what that means is that you can go B2B first. B2C first. That's where products like the NFT Locker come in. That's where products like Resolve really come in. Resolve is not built with B2B at all in mind. It's built entirely B2C. It uses Revest, but it's a B2C product. And B2C, for those of you who don't know, that means business to customer. I didn't know this either for the longest time. But basically, by kind of getting people's attention with a B2C product, they start to talk. and that talk starts to snowball. And I mean, we got some shout outs from people on Twitter this week that, that's pretty cool. As far as I can tell, a lot of that has to do with, that social proofing. Somebody showed their friend, then their friend showed them. And I'll tell you what resolved is in a sec. Their friend showed them, and they were like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. So having that presence in a B2C space is important for us to be able to get in front of devs. Otherwise, the more technical stuff that we're going to be producing, like how an output receiver works, what this Uniswap demo actually already does, that content is firmly directed toward developers. It's designed to make their understanding of Revest easier. It's designed to make them see immediately, how useful this would be and how much less work they'd have to do to design a UI that does what our system does. I've given this speech about 3 or 4 times in the past week. I've got this whole thing prepared where I go through how the NFT locker works with people. I show them the code, I show them the JSON file, and I show them the actual FNFT. Some of you have seen the FNFT, you know that it actually, renders an image overlay. The process behind that is actually incredibly elegant. And every single person that I've shown that, who is a dev, I should add, when they get it, they get excited. That to me says really good things. So the answer to that question is we're trying to educate both, and educating one makes it easier to have access to educate the other. So do you believe Revest as a complete product can become a mainstream platform to mint NFTs in the future? Yes. We're a protocol, so we aren't designed for, we aren't exactly designed to be used on a direct basis. Stuff like Resolve takes the components of Revest and utilizes them more directly with customers, and that I do see happening on an hourly basis, if not, every minute or two. But when you're talking about just like the lockup interface on Revest, the default vesting system that we built, that was never designed for individuals. I definitely think there's something to be said about diamond hands that we're going to build out a tool for. You can set it up right now, but getting diamond handcuffs to work where you're forced to not sell until something hits a price, that's still a little complicated even with our default interface. So we're going to improve that. The tools that we build on top of Revest are definitely stuff I see getting used on a daily basis. I would like to see people using the vesting system on a daily basis, but the amount of just projects that you need to be churned out, that's something that is a really, really high rate of new ERC20s. And I don't know if that's something you can reasonably expect to see used on a daily basis. So I would say yes, I fully expect that the components behind Revest, the actual protocol, will be used on a daily basis in the very near future. Do I expect the web app itself, just for minting, vesting FNFTs, will be used on a daily basis? That's not so clear. But do I expect, but the last bit of that question, do I expect it to be mainstream? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's not a doubt in my mind. I don't quite know how to put it. It's like the feeling of seeing the card. It's like playing chess. It's like playing chess when you're setting up a great set of moves, and you can see it starting to fall together, and things just kind of start poking out, and you start seeing people noticing what you've been doing. And that's kind of where I feel like we are with Revest right now. Things are getting exciting. Things are starting to heat up a little bit. And with what I know that you guys don't know, and that I literally cannot tell you because, well, that would be kissing and telling, we are going to be seeing mainstream adoption fairly soon. So I'm excited about that. Okay. Will it be easy to scale onboard projects? Yes. Yes, it will. I'd say that it is about as easy to onboard with Revest in terms of a developer as it is to get on board with an ERC 1155. easier, quite possibly. It's literally just taking everything that you use an address to reference right now and turning it into a number, because Revest FNFTs they're basically set out as numbers. So, ID 5, ID 100, ID 981, all of those, they have an ID, and you just link your data to that ID to represent that position with an FNFT. The Uniswap repo, if you're interested in learning, it's on our GitHub, github.org/Revest-Finance. It really makes it easy to understand what's going on. Okay. So thanks again for having an AMA. Glad to hear the conference was a great educational and networking event. Do you feel we are still on track to cut over ETH rewards versus more Revest tokens? Yes. Yes, I do. With the developments that I'm aware of, I firmly think that you can count on that. I believe the date at which beta is expected to end is late March, and it is my firm belief that we're going to make that mark. Conviction, actually. So I'm not worried about that at all. I know it's coming down the pipeline. I know the tech that we're working on as a team right now, and I know that tech is, yeah. I mean, even if it weren't the partnerships that I know we're getting to rev up and the revenue I know that's going to be pouring in for the first time in the next few weeks, and I don't say that lightly. That is something that is going to be happening. But even if none of that happened and it was just Resolve, I still feel that way. Resolve is a new primitive. And basically, one of the biggest problems when you want to talk about hedging in crypto is capital lockup. If you want to reduce your exposure, but still have some exposure to an asset's volatility and bet on that asset's volatility, you have to lock up your capital right now. Simply put, Resolve is a solution to that problem. It's actually incredibly simple. It's the result of me sitting around and thinking about, funny enough, the Olympus bonding mechanic. The time element of that was interesting to me. So I sat around a while and thought about how that element of time delay might be utilized. And I've come up with something. I don't think it's ready to share yet. It's not quite ready to share yet, but it's the kind of thing that will result in, 1, liquidity, and 2, pretty consistent use of Revest minting, just because of the way it's designed. It's not the kind of thing that, if it exists, that you can really afford to ignore, because it is lucrative. And that's all I think I should share for now. But we figured something out. We figured something new out, and it's going to be pretty cool to share with y'all. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Todd. Okay. And we'll go another 15 minutes. I know you probably have questions. That AMA was, as y'all can tell, new microphone, new camera. Finally upgraded my setup. Got, let's see if I can do this. Got the Blue Yeti here. And I cannot show the camera itself, but it's a Logitech. So actually picked up some decent streaming equipment. Okay. I think Revest protocol would sounds better. What? PK, could you retype that question? I don't quite follow. Have you looked at any layer 2s like Loopring? We're pretty happy with the current chains we're on. Loopring seems kind of interesting, but I don't actually know if we have a use for their ability to move NFTs cross-chain, because we're not a standard NFT. I'm talking with some guys in Phantom actually about this, and there's some people I know who are doing bridges that might be able to accommodate our needs, but we would need a special bridge built just for Revest to move that sort of liquidity. The system is designed in such a way that a lot of the data is stored, on the in the contract on Ethereum, and it's not a standard ERC 1155. It doesn't just point to a metadata file. That's it. It does not just point to a metadata file, and so we really can't use standard ERC 1155 bridges because they are only concerned with the metadata file. We'd have to have something custom built. That said, I did talk with Jinx from Pocket, and apparently they've got some interesting stuff that might be able to help out with our staking question. I don't think it's quite there yet, but we'll see. We'll see. There's some interesting tech coming down the tube, and I think it could go to some really exciting things. All right. Go ahead and hit me with something else. Anyone? Just going to start rambling, I guess. There is another product that's coming out before Resolve, probably. Well, that one is coming out as it is, as we were able to create it. So it could be really any time between now and mid-February, I'd say. And that one is that's cash flow management system. That's something I think I've talked about before. We were hoping to be able to get it out late January. A lot of the guys we have working with us now, we're working together as a team with the newer people on board for the first time. So we're still ironing the kinks out of those just kind of processes. So unfortunately, it didn't happen late January. I do think that one has a pretty good chance of happening early February, possibly before Resolve. That's a very simple call. And that one, actually, I will tell you all exactly how that works. You specify an asset you want to sell. You specify a length of time that you want to get paid over. And, well, you specify what periods you want to get paid. So let's say you had $500,000 in Uniswap tokens. And you want to go ahead and you want to sell your Uniswap tokens. Let's get that there. Okay, there we go. You want to sell your Uniswap tokens for US dollars, US dollar coin, because don't trust Tether. That thing is radioactive. Don't trust it. So you go ahead and you set up a trade with this cash flow management system. You send your Uniswap tokens to the contract. The contract immediately sells them for US dollar coin all at once. And then it packs them into, say, 5 different FNFTs, each one unlocking 1 year after the next. So, well, actually, okay, 4, because you get $100,000 up front. You get $100,000 up front in USDC, and you get 4 FNFTs. Each one is worth $100,000 US dollar coin. And the first one unlocks after 1 year. The second one unlocks after 2 years. The third one unlocks after 3 years, and so on. So that's a cool little tool. I would not describe it as a full product, though, but it should be out sometime in the next few weeks. Last AMA, you talked about Phantom Awards possibly being a revenue stream for stakers. How's that progressed any? We've been working on that, and the short answer is not quite. The long answer is kind of, and the full answer is I really can't tell you about that quite yet because we haven't announced it. But we are working on a deal with one of our unannounced partners, wherein people who are generating LP tokens on Phantom on certain platforms will be pointed toward us. So yes, it's progressed, but has it actually started happening yet? No. Are the dominoes being lined up to bring it about? Absolutely. Don't worry, we haven't forgotten about that. We've been working towards it. It's just these things do take time. Can't always operate on the perfect timetable, and just be confident and know that's going to happen probably in the next 2 weeks. So, any further questions, or should we go ahead and start wrapping this thing up? Ah, there we go. Do I think Andre Cronje went with his own custom solution to eliminate paying Revest a fee for using your protocol at such a lower level in the stack? No, not in the least, actually. I think Andre went his own route because Andre wanted to go his own route. I don't quite know how to put it. I talked to some of the folks on his team, and what I gathered, by the time that we got in touch with them, they'd already written that. So it wasn't entirely an option at that point. Obviously, if you already have code, it's much easier to just go ahead and use that code than it is to completely overhaul it. I'd also say that Andre did that because he wants VE3 solidly. They're calling it solidly now. 3.3 is no longer in fashion, apparently. He did that because he really just kind of wanted to be its own thing. And having it involved with Revest immediately means that, it's not a completely independent entity. I understand the role of NFTs in that, and it would have been a decent fit for us. It would not have been a perfect one, though. I don't think they're going to be moving around as often as our stuff typically does. I follow some of what he's done. It's ERC 721 based, and I've looked into the UI. It's all right. It's on chain. I do think he probably would have benefited from working with us on that, just given that it is based entirely on chain and it's just a single SVG. The UX for that is going to be a little difficult for people using it. Most people don't realize, the VE33 NFT doesn't actually bother to convert. But when you have tokens on chain, when you have a balance on chain, it's in 1e to the 18 units. So 1 times 10 to the power of 18. 1 Ethereum is actually 1 times 10 to the 18th way. And it holds that way for most tokens. So if you try to just display a raw balance on chain without converting it, it's going to look kind of weird. Same with Unix timecode as the unlock date. We basically, when we do coding, we base time on the number of seconds that have passed since, I want to say January 1st, 1970. And the downside with basing time on that is that if you try to display that time to a user without actually converting it back to something a human can read, it's not very user-friendly. So I wish Andre the best. I think I would have liked to work with him on Solidly, but I understand that he has his reasons for what he does. I don't think, though, that the fees are those reasons. Haven't talked with enough people in the space to get a pretty good idea of what's important to people and what isn't. Andre is more just kind of he does his thing. All right. Any further questions? No? Got time for one last question. Nobody's got anything they want to ask? Tell you about Miami. Let's see. Tell you about how it's been adjusting to using Asana. We switched from Trello finally. That was nice as a team to make that jump. What else have we been up to? Just onboarding an awful lot of people, and that's really fun. That's one of the it's one of the harder parts and also one of the funner parts of the job is bringing people into the project, getting to show them around, getting to see their excitement as they figure out what's going on and that they're involved in it. It's pretty cool. We're about to onboard a new guy for BizDev. So that'll be a cool thing to see happen. Got a lot of leads to follow up with from Miami. Slowly been following up with a few, mind you, but some stuff that we just haven't had time to get around to yet. Days are absolutely just packed. Any more full-time employees? Yes, Mr. Todd. I think you missed that announcement. Mike, our web dev, has joined us full-time. So congratulations to him. Yeah, you can add one to that. When Revest Vest? Soon, sir. I don't know. We could set up a red bubble. I think that's what it's called. Definitely haven't had any sweatshirts made. When we will see dedicated FNFT markets? Keep an eye on PaintSwap. All I'm going to say, keep an eye on PaintSwap. Those guys are on the ball. Okay. I think that's probably about it. It has been fantastic talking to y'all. As always. It's been too long since we had one of these chats. We definitely should soon again. I hope you like the NFT locker. We we've put an awful lot of just time testing and yeah, into that. It was fun. It was honestly just it's been a very fun project to see these new processes working well on. The whole thing just came together, and I'm really glad we got it out there. I really look forward to showing you guys what we've got coming up next. You're gonna really love it. All right, you guys have a fantastic weekend, and I'll keep you posted on where we are with Resolve. Oh, we got one more. How the protocol can interact with P2E. What is P2E? Like play to earn? Renting, lending the underlying assets. Actually, we do have some ideas on those. And I definitely didn't just have a call this morning to discuss that with some people. Can't say anymore, but yeah, you should. It makes sense to be able to take loans out on locked tokens. It definitely makes a lot of sense, actually. So you may be seeing that at some point in the near future. We're not pushing this protocol with every ounce of muscle and sinew we have or anything. All right, y'all have a fantastic weekend. It's always great talking to you. Thanks for the questions, and thanks for believing in what we're doing here. I really appreciate it. You guys have a fantastic weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.